All the best.
Round 1.
Four to 6 days later.
So, few years ago, I wanted to craft 3D printed emblems for my company. I looked around locally and didn't find someone willing to do it for cheap. So, I went on the popular Chinese website Alibaba. I put in an order and within weeks got these beautiful 3D printed emblems. It was a wonderful experience because I got something done for much cheaper than I would get in India. A year later, I tried to do the same thing for custom made headphones but got scammed. Basically, using Alibaba or AliExpress is like tossing a coin. There's a 50% chance you'll get the item at a cheaper price than the Indian market and a 50% chance that you will get scammed, like I did. Today though, India has matured to the point where I don't need to go looking outside. But it wasn't always so. In 1975, it was an open question as to which nation, India or China, would win in advanced industry production. Unfortunately though, it was China that won. Between 1995 and 2018, China's industry output grew 6 times faster than India's. India also exported more than $323 billion worth of goods in 2018, but China exported goods valued at nearly 8 times as much. China's top exports that time included products such as electrical machinery, appliances, and equipment, while raw materials and products that required lesser sophisticated manufacturing composed the majority of India's exports. But 2 years later, things changed. We are now becoming an electronics giant ourselves, especially in smartphone manufacturing, of which we are now the second largest producer in the world. On the other hand, China has been facing problems. According to this paper, during COVID, as high as 57.7% of Chinese manufacturing companies reported a lack of demand when COVID happened, and because of their back-to-back lockdowns, investor confidence shook. Industrial output and retail sales also fell hard. The next thing was China's trade war with US, which has shown no signs of easing down even after Biden came into power. The US government has imposed billions of dollars in tariffs on China's exports. Last year, the US exports from China dropped to their lowest since 2006. So I wanted to imagine the flow of economy of Chinese exports as a tap. With these 3 things happening above, as well as movements like Make in India and Make America Great Again, the tap suddenly had a block. Now, what happens when the tap has a block? The water flows backwards. This water flowing backwards led to a manufacturing boom in countries like India and the birth of new opportunities. In fact, if you look at Tata is now making the latest iPhone for Apple in India and is foraying into semiconductors as well. While companies like Kohn, Boeing, and even Tesla are setting their sights on manufacturing in India. And you know what? This is not just a China to India shift. Asia in its entirety is seeing manufacturing outsourcing shift from Taiwan and Japan to our country, India. You know, this is why macro level political single line statements like Make America Great Again or Make in India are so powerful. They signal an idea, and that idea has far reaching consequences that could even destroy another nation. Now basically, with the tap water flowing back and the US needing a manufacturing ally, all the spotlight is on us. But before I talk about how India is becoming a manufacturing hub for the world, I also want to show you how China managed to do this in the first place. So how did China become world's factory? Years ago, just like India, China was a closed economy and suffered from declining industrial output and poverty. But things changed when this man took over. Deng Xiaoping was inspired by Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore, which were known as the 4 Asian tigers, and had witnessed a rapid economic boom after shifting their policies to export-oriented manufacturing. So in 1978, Deng Xiaoping introduced the open door policy in China to allow foreign investments in the country. He even had the foresight to set up special economic zones or SEZs back then to attract more foreign investment into the country. Now, with this influx of huge foreign capital, they started manufacturing light consumer goods like apparel, toys, and cosmetics. And as a result, Made in China took over the world, with China's share of global exports going from just under 1% in 1978 to 2.2% in 1991, the year when India liberalized its economy after nearly going bankrupt. Now you might ask, why did India take so long to open its economy compared to China? After all, if we had done it earlier like China, we would have also witnessed a growth similar to them, right? Well, the answer is that after independence, we took a leaf from the Soviet Union and adopted a closed-door policy. Imports were restricted, manufacturing was highly regulated, and to start any business, you needed to seek a lot of licenses and approvals. In fact, according to one BBC article, approvals had to be taken from more than 80 government agencies, which is insane. But thankfully, in 1991, we opened the economy, allowing foreign investment, which helped us boost manufacturing. Along with this, in the last few years, the government has also launched several initiatives like Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and production-linked incentives or PLI schemes to boost manufacturing. Let me explain what PLI is. So back in 2020, the Modi government introduced PLI, which initially covered 14 industries for an investment amount of 1.97 lakh crores. Now, how PLI would work is the government would provide domestic and foreign manufacturers with various subsidies, tax concessions, and import-export incentives depending upon the number of products they would manufacture and sell. This was essentially started to boost manufacturing in India. And we've all been hearing about these incentives for a long time. But the question is, were these just empty promises or have they actually created an impact on our manufacturing capabilities? If you look at the data from Economic Survey, sectors like pharmaceutical, chemicals, food and beverages, automotive and electronics have actually witnessed a big boost. For example, under electronics, we have not only become the world's second largest smartphone manufacturer, but even our electronics exports have shot up considerably. In fact, electronics is now the fastest growing export segment. The majority of these exports are smartphones, which are being made by foreign giants like Foxconn, Samsung, and Wistron, all of which have received subsidies from the government under the PLI scheme. Now, I just want to put this into perspective, right? A decade ago, 98% of phones used in India were being imported. But today, over 99% of the phones used in India are being manufactured here, which is an insane boost. And recently, to boost manufacturing of other electronic items, the government had even imposed import restrictions on laptops and PCs, which they later revoked. But after this announcement, several companies like Dell, HP, Asus, and others signed agreements to manufacture laptops, PCs, and tablets in India under the PLI scheme, which are expected to create 2 lakh jobs in the economy.
Hi, this video is sponsored by us. So a while back, we started Aevy's video mastery cohort with the goal in mind that we wanted to give back to the community who watched us. We have done 5 cohorts up to now and are in the middle of our 6th one and have trained over 1,300 students, some of which have been able to go out and secure packages up to 30 LPA with international clients like Ali Abdal. Many of them have also gone out and started working with billion-dollar companies like Unacademy and PhysicsWallah. In fact, many of our students have even started their own content journey and started pulling 500,000 views. We've had business owners who started pulling 100k views after joining our cohort. In fact, I'm super proud to announce that all of these guys are our students from the cohort. So if you're a student, a full-time employee, or a business owner who wants to embark on this journey of video editing and content creation, we have a free class. Register by clicking the link in the description. See you there. Now back to the video.
Now I want to touch upon this industry which I've been particularly excited about, that's toys. So if you're somebody who wishes to manufacture toys, then right now is the perfect opportunity to enter this business. Although toys are not under the PLI schemes, but the government has been planning to add them soon and is taking various steps to make the industry globally competitive. You see, till now we have been dependent upon China for toys. But in the last few years, the government hiked the import duty on toys and their parts, which has led to a reduction in toy imports by over 70%, while our exports have shot up. And you know what? The industry has a huge potential to unlock job opportunities, with estimates suggesting that it could create 1,000 direct jobs alone for every $10 million of revenue earned. See, making toys is a very labor-intensive process, and the majority of the toys are currently being made by the micro units in India, with women as the main workers. So imagine the potential we can unlock here if we increase the scale and bring more technological processes into their manufacturing. The great part is government is already taking a lot of steps. For example, apart from increasing import duties, they've also approved a toy park in Uttar Pradesh, which will see big toy companies manufacture toys in India and provide employment to 6,000 people. Now, I also want to talk about something that happened very recently, that's the vaccines. Now, India is already known as world's pharmacy, and when the world got shut because of the pandemic, we stepped up in vaccine manufacturing and defeated China. See, China's vaccines were found to have less efficacy, which created a lot of anxiety around the world. On the other hand, our government, along with Serum Institute of India, displayed remarkable effectiveness in producing and exporting vaccines to many countries. This manufacturing prowess not only turned the world's eyes towards our manufacturing capabilities, but even increased our soft power. Next thing I want to talk about is credit growth to MSMEs. See, when it comes to manufacturing, majority of us think of big machines and corporations. But the reality is that medium and small enterprises play a big role in the Indian manufacturing system. In fact, they make up 36% of our manufacturing output. And in the past few years, they had faced a lot of difficulties in getting loans from the government, which had impacted our manufacturing capabilities. So when COVID came, it was particularly distressing situation for them because they didn't even have the financial muscle to tide over the crisis alone. So in 2020, the government launched ECLGS, or the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, under which government aimed to provide 3 lakh crore collateral-free loans to help them meet their working capital needs. And because of this, the MSMEs saw an increase in credit flowing to them during and after the pandemic, because otherwise they would have suffered, and so our manufacturing capabilities. Additionally, ever since the production of the PLI schemes, our overall exports have also jumped up significantly. The US, which I earlier talked about, has found us as a manufacturing ally and is now buying more from us. Just look at this. Between 2018 and 2022, our overall exports by the US surged by 44% to reach $23 billion. Exports in certain categories to the US, like auto components, mechanical machinery, and semiconductors, have especially seen a big jump. And you know what? In the same period, China has seen a 29% decrease in its export of all these items to the US. Now, it was not just the trade war and the change of heart by companies, which is the reason why global giants are looking to shift manufacturing from China to India. There is one more macro level advantage that we hold. Look at this chart. India is the cheapest place in the world to hire manufacturing talent and laborers. And no, they are not being screwed. The purchasing power parity is the best in India. A meal in McDonald's costs 36% more in China, and consumer prices cost 64% more. Rent, in fact, is 242% more in China. So being in India, you can get the same benefits and are hence being paid lower prices because you can afford the same things. This gives us a massive advantage. Another thing is that China is now facing the same problem that the West had faced. See, people in China today want to live more comfortable lives and work slightly less while earning more. This is the reason why the labor cost in China is also going up, and China is colonizing Africa for cheap labor. So while all of these points to India becoming the manufacturing hub of the world, not everything is as rosy. In fact, there is one thing where we are still lacking and China does better than us, that's research and development. China's contribution to research and development spending was 2% 25 years back and has gone to 27% in 20 years. Ours, though, has only gone from 1.8% to 2.9% in the same period. Now, research and development is also a little bit like gambling, right? You don't know what will actually come out of it. But when something good does come out, it changes the world. China is making more innovative bets in industries like AI and robotics, which we also need to. In addition to this, there are a few other challenges which also need to be addressed. Watch this.
हेलो
हेलो भैया।
अरे हाँ भैया।
2 हफ्ते पहले एक ऑर्डर भेजा
हाँ
था, क्या अपडेट है उसका?
अरे रॉ मटेरियल मंगाई है, जम्मू से आ रही है, 15 दिन तो लगेंगे।
अभी तक आया ही नहीं है।
हाँ, कल शाम तक आ जाएगा, लेकिन कल शुक्रवार है तो लोग कम होंगे और फिर शनिवार को कुछ हाफ डे है लोगों का। लॉबी फ्री हुआ क्या? 5 मिनट हो रहा है। अच्छा ठीक है, ऐड कर मेरे को। हाँ, और रविवार को तो काम कराना अच्छा नहीं लगता ना लोगों से, तो सोमवार को चालू कर देंगे और 2 हफ्ते में हो जाएगा।
2 हफ्ते में पूरा हो जाएगा?
नहीं नहीं, आधा हो जाएगा और हम भिजवा देंगे आगे, फिर आप भेज देना और फिर 2-3 हफ्ते में तो आपको पूरा मिल ही जाएगा ना ऑर्डर। हेलो हेलो।
First is low worker productivity. So, a McKinsey report stated that Indian workers in the manufacturing sector are on average almost 4 and 5 times less productive than their counterparts in Thailand and China. On the other hand, our logistical infrastructure also needs to be improved. You see, for a country to develop its manufacturing power, it must have strong roads, airways, and especially railway connectivity. This is because the cost of transporting goods by railway is less than cost of transporting goods by road. But while developed countries have been transporting goods from the railways, India has been doing the complete opposite. And because of this reason, the logistics cost is high in India compared to the global average. Now, you might ask, Achina, why are we using road transport more when we already have such a vast railway network? Well, that's because compared to China, India's freight trains are again 4 to 5 times slower. So due to this, our logistics costs are higher compared to the other countries. And this directly impacts our manufacturing sector because you see, a strong production system not only requires quality technology and cheap labor, but also quality transport and connectivity systems. But to help us with this, the Modi government is already taking steps to tackle this with initiatives like the National Logistics Policy, PM Gati Shakti, and multimodal parks, which will not only improve our logistics, but also create more holistic ecosystem for manufacturing. Honestly, I feel like if we are able to curb all of these issues, we could be on the path to becoming a manufacturing superpower. By the way, if you like today's video, you should also check out our video on Zetwork, a manufacturing unicorn from India itself. Their story is amazing and there are plenty business lessons that you can learn from them, linking them right here. Before I end this video, I wanted to wish all of you a very, very happy new year. If you like this video and want to watch more such videos like this from us in 2024, please do click the subscribe button. It is absolutely free, takes a second, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't like our videos in the future. We put in a lot of effort and we will keep doing so for all of you. My name is Achina Maya. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.